So we'll open the meeting for September 25th, Conservation Commission in the Bellingham Municipal Center. And welcome to everyone who's here. We will start with the continued hearing for notice of intent for Candlelight Lane Parcel C, which is construction of an earthen berm within 100-foot buffer zone for PDW. Southern Center Realty LLC is the applicant and Dale McKinnon is the representative. And
they contacted me Mondays wishing to continue to a date. I'm pretty sure it's the next one. In a second. They requested October 9th.
Okay. The next meeting. Okay, we can October 9th. This is the site that we did a number of members to a sidewalk a couple of weeks ago. And observed the water going down into the basin and talked about the berm and the option being better. The best option will be a drainage option. Getting real drainage
Getting the water
out of there, but that'll involve a couple of the butters get an easement through the property.
Right, they were not amenable.
Well,
early on,
they were approached earlier, but in a way that was not clear how clear benefits would be to them and so forth. So we were going to re-explore that with one of the neighbors and with the applicant's representative to see if they could develop that while still pursuing the berm option to some degree without actually doing the berm, because that will require maintenance and a lot of other involvement and may not be the best long-term solution, right? Even ultimately fail. So we're going to continue this at the request of the applicant to October 9th. I'll accept the motion to do so. So moved. Well, that was tight.
Second.
All right. Steve, thank you. Aaron, second. Any other discussion?
Did they give you any like update or did they just?
Well, when we walked the site, they agreed that they would go back and investigate the berm option a little bit more, flesh that out, but also begin to reach out to the abutters and that would be required for getting an easement through to a drainage line in the street beyond their properties. So
That was a few weeks ago now.
yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything since.
I might be repeating this because I feel like it happened right before our meeting 2 weeks ago, but in case I'm not, they did reach out, basically re-asking, so you're gonna help us, convince these abutters. And I said, I will happily help educate from a scientific perspective, but it is your work to do. You're reaching out to them. They can definitely come to me and ask questions.
Question.
Jim Sullivan, who is what is his title?
He's VP of operations for Gurrier and Haldon. So he's the engineering firm, Jim Sullivan.
I also said like they could come in and talk to us during a meeting. So I said like, we are here, we're not gonna do your work, but we are here as a resource.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
And they didn't really respond to that.
Being that it'll be open space, Concom and or town maintenance required and so forth, it's best to, I think, pursue the drainage option as far as long as we can with them. They do have an incentive to want to do that, get the roads approved and so forth. So I think we let the applicant bear the burden of that and the representatives for a while longer at this point in time. Doesn't seem to be a downside, so I don't think at this point, since there is attempts, at least from we're hearing, to make progress. Okay, any other discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay, thank you. So let's continue to the evening of October 9th at 7 p.m. Next item on the agenda is a continued hearing of notice of intent for 175 North Street, construction of a single-family dwelling, septic system, barn, and utilities. James McGrath, 175 North Street is the applicant. William Helsing, Land Planning Inc. is the representative. Gentlemen. Right up.
Requesting a continuance because we don't have the peer review yet.
Okay. Yes, I guess at the last meeting, it discussed the idea of having peer review. Since then, we've received a proposal from BSC, which the commission saw on the portal if they have the option to do so, or were available to do so. That proposal was accepted by the applicant, and so now we're waiting for BSC to pursue with the peer review, and so that seems to be a good reason to continue. Any sense from BSC how their timetable is? Are they backed up? Are they?
We have not spoken to them, so I do not know.
They plan to be out at that site Monday or Tuesday of next week, and I'm
Oh.
gonna ask to see if there's more specific,
Yeah,
just,
it'd be helpful to know, so, you know, we need someone out there with them or whatever too.
So we think, the 2-week continuance?
I think that I'll have something by then, as long as you guys are good with that.
Okay. We can go 4 if you want, but I just thought I'd throw out the 2, you know, in hopes that maybe they'll be able to move along. Okay. So I will, unless there's any questions or discussion, I will also offer that after we make the motion. Accept the motion to continue this hearing for 175 North Street to the evening of October 9th at 7 P.M.
So moved.
Wait, October 9th?
October 9th is next meeting.
I was thinking 2 meetings.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that today, so 2 weeks it should be enough to start, and we can always complete it again if it's, the progress is being made, not done. Second, okay, thank you, Don and Moran. Any other discussion? No, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, unanimous vote. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Are you staying around, Bill, for
He's got one
the
more.
South Maple?
Yes, I am.
Be there shortly. We continue hearing notice of intent for Route 126 Hartford Avenue, improvements along Hartford Avenue within the 100-foot buffer zone. DPW is the applicant. This is the north end of town up by the Home Depot and Hartford Avenue / 126 intersection. Keith Lincoln is the Chappelle Engineering Associates is the representative, and we have an update for Hannah and or
Yeah,
Keith
so-
is online.
yeah,
too.
Keith's
Chris-
online, but I'll start it off first, just, BSC forwarded our request to their engineering team, and, we haven't heard back yet about the cost of that scope. And I told Keith that as well.
And, you know, I don't think you had last meeting where we discussed this, that what they have decided to do, this is for the drainage up. They were going to do originally a big detention basin behind Larry's. That was part of one of the areas, and the other area was the loop of the ramp. That drainage area is staying pretty much as planned originally, but the Larry's area is not suitable, it's contaminated and so forth, so that they've decided to take the water from that area that they were going to and run it down Hartford, 126 to about the beginning of just beyond Home Depot entrance and go into a storm water system there and then release it, the treated discharge into the wetlands.
That existing, tie into that existing basin sort of, that's by Outback?
It's a little south.
I think it's further south than that, it's more towards the beginning of the White Pine
Past
Barrens area.
Past the pipe, past the
It's the one.
Past the
before-
pipeline easement,
Yeah, just before,
just before the pipeline.
right at, going towards Home Depot. On the right's your easement, 30 feet. That little divot. Just past the entrance to Home Depot.
So our discussion last time we had the representatives here was, we don't know whether that can handle that. We'd like to have an engineering analysis of that to confirm it. We think that their numbers are probably good. They think that it can handle the flow from the street. But since that's all it's gonna go there and it's gonna then discharge into a resource area, that's, you know, valuable resource area, White Pine Barrens and all that. We felt it was worth having BSC take a look at it, and they agreed, and so that's where we're at. We're just waiting for BSC. Make sure the engineering looks good.
Well, did they do soil testing?
Well, that would probably, I would assume, be part of the overall evaluation. We didn't get into the details, I don't think, of what they did for the, not that I recall anyway, for the analysis.
You're gonna need test holes.
Keith, if you want to
Steve,
speak
can
on that.
you?
Yeah,
Mike, Steve?
so in this case, what we're discharging into is a hydrodynamic separator, a storm scepter system. So it's a self-contained unit that removes the sediment from the first inch of rainfall through the that falls on the roadway and drains into the structure, and then it discharges into the wetlands further to the east of North Main Street. So this is not an infiltration or a detention basin, which would require soil testing. This is a proprietary unit that the town is equipped to maintain. And in our meetings with the town, that was the preference for water quality treatment in this area because of the confinement.
Well,
The-
we don't know, I know that I don't know enough about the engineering to know if it can handle that. That was my number one question. Can it handle all this water that's gonna be coming down the road into an area that it didn't before? And
Almost a direct discharge.
yeah,
You
that-
know,
and
into a
then
resource.
into a resource
Into a
area, we wanna
resource
make sure it's done right. So that's why we felt that having BSC involved in doing an analysis of the proposed structure, impacts, negative potential impacts, any concerns that we should have, would be- meet the performance standards exactly, so that we would have the backup to know that we approve it, that it's, gonna be done right and it is appropriate. How many feet down the road, from the, Home Depot entrance roughly is it, do you know?
Okay, yeah, it's approximately, I'm gonna say about 100 to 150 feet south of that, the entrance off of, North Main Street.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just south of the pump station building.
Okay,
That's probably the best reference.
yeah, I know pump stations, okay. Yeah, thank you. We're having a couple of
Yep.
members on their laptops and identify with the map. That's why we're pausing here.
Sure,
Give them a chance. Some of the members were not present at the last meeting and want to make sure
Sure.
everybody's up to speed on this and that. Chance to ask any questions, so we have a little time to do that.
sure.
Just below it. How does the removal of solids
Well,
affect what the soil can absorb? They're two different things.
Could you hear that question?
I'm sorry, no, I could not.
We'll ask Steve, could you repeat that again so we can?
How would the separation of the solids by the storm scepter have any bearing on what the soil can absorb? They're two different elements, in my opinion.
Right, this system is not dependent upon soil absorption of the water going through any kind of a treatment like a soil media. This just, what happens is the water goes through this circular hydrodynamic separation process, and the water gets the solids get separated out from the water. The cleaner water gets discharged into the wetlands to the east, and then there's the periodic maintenance of the structure that the town DPW performs to maintain the integrity of the structure. So
You've been clear with that process so far.
It's just dumping right out into, that's one of the reasons we want to make sure it's treated properly and handle the load. It doesn't get loaded and start dumping in water that's not been treated properly if it's overcome by a, big storm and so forth. I think that's where the engineering and the BSC review of this is going to be important for us to make sure.
And the sheer volume that space can hold.
Right, yeah. The area beyond that,
and phosphorus loading, salt, that won't be removed by this structure and is going to be directly discharged in a resource.
right, I've always had a concern about salt being treated off the roads and going into wetlands areas because storm scepters and so forth can take sediments and solids out, but they aren't taking the salt out and discharging salt in a high volume potentially of how much higher there was because it wasn't ever funneled out into this area before could have a negative impact. That's one of the things I really want to see in BSC's report, what their evaluation is on that potential impacts based on various storm levels and so forth. The quantity of water and so forth. So I think we need to gather some
We'll wait
information.
for the peer review.
Yeah, I think we need to see what that impact
Got
is.
it apart.
So hopefully BSC will be able to get this proposal to us and we'll hear back from the engineering people there about what their plans are and the scope of the costs and so on. And then get some approvals in place and continue to move the process along. In the meantime, we'll need to continue. But, somebody saying something?
I think it's background check.
Background noise, okay. So I'll accept a motion to continue this hearing, for another 2 weeks, see if we can get BSC's moving along on this and where we are.
Are we gonna overload the heck out of October 9th this way?
We have,
What else do we already have on for the night?
Blue, and that's it.
That's it?
Okay,
So yeah, we are overloaded.
we may. We'll have to see. We're at three, right now, three to four. is
Oh,
not-
sorry.
We'll be okay. So I will accept the motion to continue this hearing to the evening of October 9th, 7 P.M.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Second,
Seconded.
Don, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Unanimous vote. October 9th it is. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
You too.
Now, well, last item on the official hearing, with some other business afterwards, so don't run away, is 38 South Maple Street, new hearing, notice of intent for repair of a subsurface sewage disposal system within the resource area. I will mispronounce it, Diego Silva. Is that pronounced close? Yeah, yes, thank you. From Milford is the applicant and Land Funding, Bill Holson is the representative. And gentlemen, you feel free to provide your presentation. Guys can see that okay? If you want to come around and get a better view, you can move your chair around. You don't have to sit behind the board there. Thank you. Don't feel obligated to do that.
3 South Maple Street, got a couple of things going on here. Number one, we have a septic failure. So, soil testing, prepared a plan for the Board of Health, same plan as this. Replacing the septic system, kind of the only area it can go to meet all the Title V setbacks.
Is that where it is now? Is that where Leachfield is now?
Yeah, it's right in here.
Okay.
It's in a similar area, but we did not hit it during the soil testing. So it's gonna be elevated a bit too because of groundwater elevation. Septic tank, pump chamber over here, tank pretty much in the same location as the old one.
Put a new tank,
Absolutely,
new-
tank,
all new.
pump chamber,
all new plumbing. Yeah.
everything on the outside, I think inside too.
Yes.
Diego has a building permit, he's been remodeling the house. It's currently a duplex, 4 bedrooms, I think it's 3 in 1, right? 3 in 1, yeah. 3 in 1. Now, this site was abandoned for a number of years, built in 1960. There is a garage over on the right side of the property with a driveway. And all this bluish area has turned into resource area over the years. Scott Heim, Northeast Ecological Service, delineated it for us. Kind of a surprise in looking at the lot as to where the wetlands really are. So part of the project he would like to do is restore the driveway. The road walkway, parking out front, and regrade and replant the existing lawn. All of it's previously disturbed area, previously used. And where the driveway is and the walkway, we're proposing bringing in some gravel, put some crushed stone on the top to keep it nice and stable and get it above the elevation of the wells. The garage is actually on an upland island in the middle of all of this. We are proposing a replication area to the right of the lot. There's a report from Scott Heim in the package as to the procedure. And where this is previously disturbed, is restoring what was already there. We are just asking for a little better than 1-to-1 replication.
How much of the existing grass yard that they want to restore is wetlands currently? I see the blue. Is that blue only wetlands? So none of the grass, the area beyond the line closer to the house is wetlands, grass, yard?
Yes, wetland line is back here, proposing, siltation barrier and regrading and fixing the existing line, not in the resource area. It's just where it's existing currently. There was a little block wall back here. I know GEP had a comment on that. It just concrete blocks sitting on the ground. He just wants to pick them out and get them on there. So no equipment, just handwork. Yeah, we're better. So clean up the site was kind of a mess.
I know this question was asked, I was, where is the existing system?
Underneath
In
those.
in this area. We had
Underneath.
a full plan.
Just,
Got it.
In similar areas. to the,
And you're removing again all the existing.
Yeah, where it conflicts. His DEP requires a leaching area to be at least 50 feet from a wetland. So
Yeah.
it didn't meet anyway.
Did you say the wetlands lines changed?
We showed what they are today. But previously driveway, walkway, lawn, this was all developed in the past.
Okay.
Yeah,
back in the sixties,
most likely.
do we know?
I wasn't a
Do
witness.
we know if it was legally developed or whether they were encroaching on wetlands back then and the wetlands line was back then where it is now? We
Know
don't know.
that, but just kind of looking at the
Because
site.
the narrative states that, in the report, it states that it wetlands has encroached and taken over some of the yards and so forth, whereas historically and factually, we're not positive where the wetlands line was before I'm hearing.
Well, based on the layout of the property, I would be inclined to agree because I don't think that someone would back then build like a little road through wetlands and not fill those wetlands in.
No, back in the day, they just would have filled.
Yeah, you
Is
built
that-
it.
yeah.
And the other kind of evidence I'm looking at, is this a pond across the street? That may be a detention pond from over there, and that could have brought the water table up too. And that's a maybe. Certainly, we didn't analyze across the street.
And there's a drainage easement too, it's like.
There is.
Across the street.
Yeah.
in front of Webb.
There is a lot of water in that area that goes into the forest.
Yeah,
If you hike it, you see it.
yeah. Oh, definitely a big wetland.
So basically towards the top of the map that's shown, the way. It's-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you could find them. Yeah.
Okay. Questions from commission members?
Well, I would like to, I'm sure he's explained it, but while he was explaining, I was trying to read the drawing. What is the extent, breach into the wetlands for this project?
Okay. You see the dashed line, that's its siltation area?
Yeah.
That will be the extent. Oh, the one thing I didn't mention, this is a dug well here right next to the walkway. He wants to fill it in.
Okay. It's an existing well,
Yes.
old school.
Oh, yeah, well tile. It's like a 30.
Has a pump and everything inside,
Yeah,
was operating. It's
Yeah.
pump inside and open, it's
the house
water.
has town water
Town
now,
water
so it's
now.
not necessary.
It's what?
The house has town water now,
Okay, so
so we
what's,
can fill in the well.
is the well at least covered at the moment?
It's got a cover on it, concrete cover.
Yes, it's solid concrete, everything maintained, it's perfect condition.
To answer the questions on history, just based on historic aerial images. It was built in the seventies and all the images before that look like heavily wooded area.
Yeah, I know in the nineties, I had gone through there doing geocaching and it was fairly dry. That would have been probably around 95, 96. I think it's slowly gotten wetter and wetter and wetter.
Well, Bill, as I looked at what I could see of the elevation markings, it's fairly flat in that property, isn't it?
It is.
Slight dip down towards the wetlands.
Yeah, very gentle slope, yeah.
And then it's fragments.
Any indication why the existing system failed? Is it age? Was it improper use or was it wetlands encroaching the drain field?
Well, I wasn't the inspector on the job, but just kind of looking at it and what the elevation most likely is, it's probably really close to groundwater. Plus, it's old too.
So a combination of all three.
It's most likely, yeah.
So,
And again, I didn't-
system from the seventies potentially
Yeah.
and high groundwater.
Did you only get
Yeah.
years out of subject?
No dump grease in the last room.
Hey, my old house was like that. It's all going in.
And we put filters on all the new ones too, to really save the leaching field.
Yeah.
How much of a raised bed do we have to have?
Uh,
How high do you need to get above groundwater in that
Oh.
leach field?
we're 3 feet above groundwater. We requested a 1 foot waiver from the Board of Health. Because the existing driveway is here and it makes all the grades work. So we're taking something that was most likely in the groundwater, getting it 3 feet above.
Though I'm having trouble seeing it on this,
Yeah.
the line isn't, oh, I'm sorry, I see it down here, the legend's down, I see it down here, so the 25 foot zone is actually runs well through the house.
Yes.
Is out into the street.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, we get the town to move the road, that's not fun.
I was
so
gonna
much
say, do you have
for
any elevation data
We're
or
gonna have to start moving a
survey
lot of
data
roads if
from
we're
that
gonna
road?
hold that criteria.
What do you mean?
Like, have you taken
Like
any
every
points
road in
along the
town.
road? Because I'm wondering if it's like a dip in the road, it's kind of leading surface water onto the property.
Well, the surface water goes down, it's a little drainage ditch on the left over there. It's, not jurisdictional. That's kind of where the water is chapped and channeled. Yeah, I have elevations right down the road there, and I think that's where it's on.
So you're going with a raised, in essence, a raised system above the existing drain field. So what will the separation from current groundwater?
3 feet.
What's that?
3 feet from groundwater to
Now,
the
these-
bottom of the leaching area.
What testing did you do? More importantly, when? We were in the middle of a dry period.
Well, we did it in the spring. Yeah, I'm a soil evaluator, and we don't just read where you see groundwater, we read the soils. So we're looking for soil modeling or redoxymorphic features, and that's what establishes the groundwater. The actual reaping of groundwater was much further below what we actually call groundwater on this.
The reason I asked the question is I'd hate for the applicant to run into the same scenario of rising groundwater and we didn't leave enough room.
Well, I wouldn't anticipate it. Hopefully, the neighborhood isn't continuing to change. And plus, the Board of Health witnesses the soil test, so there's checks and balances.
So the 1 foot variance is to get from 4 to 3
Yeah.
for the town bylaw.
And
And
you're,
certainly, if it was an existing system, you only have to be above groundwater as an inspector.
and you're proposing 1,400 square feet of replication?
Yes.
1 to 1 almost.
So is that replication or mitigation? What are you proposing in
Well,
that?
Scott called it mitigation. Where we're restoring an existing area, but we know we need to give something back. And there's no trees or shrubs in the area that's being restored. So the plan is to
Strip
seed
it down, put in the soil that's acceptable. I did see something about remove or use on site. I don't know, like, what you're gonna do. Oh, I mean, bring in or use on site soil and in the report, and then, put in some seed mix on top, basically, and call it a day at that point in time.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything I saw in there about, guaranteeing a period of time for the, ensuring that it takes.
Certainly, it can be monitored for a year or two as.
I think we should have that as a standard that we generally want to see some through 2 to 3 years, at least 3.
Yeah.
I'm seeing lots of 3s indicated, so that's probably a good thing. We want to make sure it works and takes, so it doesn't fail. And that's a good thing. That's a fair minor, but I think.
With a bond.
Yeah, with a bond, usual.
So if you're asking for 1 to 1, there's 1,400 feet being disturbed somewhere else.
1,280.
The driveway, the walkway. This area.
Okay, when I asked before, that's what I didn't
This,
pick up.
The garage is on an island right now.
Yeah.
It's not clearly modeled, it's not clearly modeled.
That driveway wasn't
Oh,
maintained, so the wetland moved
Yeah,
in
yeah, I noticed that.
on top of the driveway, so they just want to get the driveway back.
And that's the disruption.
Now I got it, okay. But all the shaded area with the dots.
Yes, this driveway, yeah, and walkway over here.
Yeah.
It's a timber walkway, so we're gonna say to put a couple of more rows of timber on there and fill it up without making it any larger.
The walkway that goes from the drive to the residence.
Yeah.
I see it, it's right here, an 8-inch PVC pipe.
Yeah, we don't want to create impoundment on the one
No,
side.
as long as it could pass through.
Um,
And
and the area. The area of fill is what?
The area of fill.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's in the NOI.
It should, you know, it's less than 1,400. I know we made it a little bigger, but we didn't want to wipe out the forest over there too much either.
This one's gonna be existing. Do you have a cross section for the PVC and how you're planning on installing it?
1,280 in the resource area disturbance.
James had a question.
Yeah,
Do you have a cross section of the PVC and how you plan
We
to
like to
install
be
it?
2 to 1.
To be installed at the low point.
You're not netting it at all?
You just wanted to pass.
How much of an effort would it be to go closer to 2 to 1, which is what we usually ask for when possible for mitigation / replication of the disturbed area? Phil, given this site here, I mean, I know you have some limits, you don't want to disturb an area that's already wetlands, obviously to create mitigation wetlands, that's not, that doesn't make any sense. But other areas that to the right of, for example, where's the property line? The right of the
Line's over here.
Okay, so you have between the red area, that's the mitigation area, and the property line, what is that area that's white now there in between the two? Is that
It's forest.
just, oh, okay, so we don't want to dig up forest to put in wetlands, that's obviously another.
That's kind of what we were
That's
looking
what
at,
this is.
the
Yeah.
area, what is the best thing?
How thick is the block wall? Like how wide?
This one here,
Like I know how, that it's long, but like how wide? Cause like couldn't you add that
they're
into?
8-inch blocks,
Oh,
just concrete blocks like you.
We're not gaining much square footage there.
that's what I was wondering, like.
If it was a big paved walkway or something,
Oh, right.
paved area, and you're taking that out, that would be a good replication area too.
Absolutely.
But taking the blocks out is always a nice thing. We certainly don't want to see that in the wetlands, and you don't want them there, so that's all good that you're taking that out. How high would the driveway need to be raised to get it up above, and then where you're restoring it through the wetlands?
It says 1 foot, it says 1 foot of gravel with 3 inch of crushed stone.
Yeah, we just want to get it above without making too much disturbance if we can.
Right now, if you went on it, would you be getting tires wet?
You're
Okay.
correct. And
Right
this
in the
time of
ground.
the year, no, it's dry now, you can drive.
Right, but if it was
Once you-
Springtime,
Yes.
It's
springtime,
definitely wet on top of the ground.
yeah, I'm just wondering how, a foot is, as opposed to 3 feet where you'd be,
skunk cabbage trying to pop up through the garage, through the driveway yet?
That's happened sometimes, you know, hopefully not here.
Was that walkway existing previously?
Yeah, it's got landscape timbers on each side of it, well defined.
You know, like maybe the wetland that is there could be enhanced.
And do we have a restoration plan?
We have a restoration narrative,
Yeah. A narrative.
which the grades are on the plan. But, you know, typically Scott doesn't always give us elevation, because he wants to inspect it to make sure it's out there that it looks good for hydrology and stuff. So it's kind of hard to define exact elevations without seeing it.
dig it out, put some new dirt in, put some grass seed and mix on it, call it a day, basically, that's what I read.
Some.
Saplings and shrubs are not proposed because there's nothing within the wetlands area already. It looks like there's one. That was a represent improvement of a wet meadow community. So they're trying to create a wet meadow community with their invasive plants within the seed mix for pollinators and small mammals. Using a local nursery mix as well as soil. But prior to that, they would flag the outer limits of the mitigation area, erosion barrier control, remove vegetation within the mitigation area, excavate the soil to 12 inches below existing grade of the down gradient wetland and stockpile upslope. Or remove from the site, inspect with a wetland scientist. To confirm excavation elevations within the mitigation area are suitable for wetland hydrology. If they're not, then what's the plan?
We'd have to dig a little deeper.
And we're gonna have, obviously, in this area, getting to it, we're gonna have disturbance. Temporary disturbance at least.
Yeah, through the upland here.
Right. So that's gonna have to be,
There's kind of nothing there right now. I mean,
Under oversight by the wetland scientist, place 6 inches of loam compost mix picked up or delivered to the site. Picked up from the magic compost loam berry.
McIntyre, whoever has one.
Oh, okay. or delivered to the site. So if it's picked up, then it wouldn't have to be delivered. I get it, okay.
Well, there may be adequate stuff in the topsoil here. Don't know till you start digging to see what's out.
DoorDash, if I go.
Creating small areas of microtech, they're gonna make comics and hollows, and then put 1 pound of seed mix. Wait a minute, apply 1 pound of wetland seed mix throughout the entire wetland restoration area? That doesn't sound like very much. Sounds like there's a typo there. 1 pound per square 100 feet or
I think
something?
it's 100 feet.
Yeah, I think we should check that and make sure that that notation is made.
Yeah, I
It
think-
sounds like they're putting 1 pound on over 14 square feet. That's
not.
not very well.
Anyone
And then
look at
lightning
the
mulch
stream?
restoration.
Sparse, I would say.
Sparse. What's that?
Did we do, like the stream behind the property?
No.
There's a stream behind the property, and I just wondering if that's from
I think that's way the heck back.
with the 200 foot.
Like
Marion?
200 feet.
I don't know, Scott usually does those and he paces it off to see where he is, and he's really good at looking at the whole property.
Well, since you're already talking to him about this, next, just confirm if you would that we're beyond 200 feet, so we're not worried about that, please.
Yeah, I would just like to see it on the plan if we're not, I think it's gonna affect,
Not big enough to say, put them in there.
well,
Is that far?
not the stream itself, if it's.
A
more than 200
notation.
feet, But if the buffer extends on the.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Other questions, observations?
Question on the pump chamber, and I think I understand it, and this is relative to power failure and could the chamber be breached. Normal operation keeps the level in the bottom foot and a half of the tank. If I read pump on and pump off elevations.
Right.
So that you probably have 700 gallons plus or minus freeboard.
Yeah, there's at least a day of storage.
I would be thinking a couple more than that, but
Yeah, there is, very quickly. Almost 1.5 days of
how
storage.
many people living in the house?
Well, a 4-bedroom can be up to 8 people.
Okay, a day.
Not necessarily is, but that's the max.
What happens if the power failure is longer? Does the pump tank overflow onto the ground or is it back up into the house?
Well, it's buried pretty good, so it should not go over the ground. And remember, a septic tank is gonna have a cover on it that's sealed.
Yeah, but this is the pump chamber.
That will have a cover on it that's sealed.
Okay.
So when it gets full and there's no power,
The alarm would go off before that. But we do hope that people understand not to keep running the water if the power's out.
The alarm will not be powered.
Electricity, so.
That's batteries, it won't.
do they generally have battery backup for these alarm systems? No,
Not required by Title V.
interesting oversight. Considering the reason.
On a commercial site, on a commercial site, yes, but residential. no.
DP has given a couple comments, which he already referenced once. I just got mine today.
Yeah,
Did
me
you just-
too.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
so you guys have not seen them?
Okay, want to share them?
Yeah, so he already brought up the concrete block wall. They just want to make sure that there's stabilization measures for that. So I'm gonna skip that. They recommended 2-year monitoring period for the replication area and a minimum of 75% of all planted plants survive. The commission may request a cross-section of the proposed replication area to confirm compliance with 310 CMR 10. Okay. In accordance in the Massachusetts Inland Wetland Replication Guidelines, replacement plans should include cross-sections of the proposed wetland, including surface and subsurface features.
Not current.
Oh, they have not currently
Right.
given us, yes. Does that make sense?
I don't believe they've ever done one.
DEP is asking for this? Or
They
DEP?
said that we may request.
DEP.
Oh, yeah, they use may request a cross-section to be in compliance with, and then they cite.
It's kind of going back to the previous question. You don't really know how deep you're gonna dig until you dig and see what the soils look like.
It appears that certain pages from the delineation forms are missing for the wetland and upland sampling points. The soil log page is missing from the upland sampling point form, and the page with the indicators of hydrology is missing from the wetland sampling point form. Delineation forms in their entirety for each sampling point should be submitted to confirm the delineation.
Well, that makes sense. Complete documentation is something I'm sure both DEP and we want. But that
Like
is,
a copy or something.
yeah, check your documentation. If you're good, I'm sure you have that information. It's just getting it to them, I guess, and making sure that they have received it is probably good. Any thoughts on the DEP's recommendation for potentially asking for the cross section? Which of the mitigation area, which I don't think we've done.
I don't think that's. Doesn't sound.
Into the weeds first.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Yeah.
pretty big ask for something like this, I think.
Yeah, what do you think they're trying to learn?
I'm not sure.
They're just being a state agency. That's how they act.
I can forward you, it so you can look up what they're referencing if you're interested, Steve.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have that reference point in case somebody wants to look and see what the 310 CQM, whatever it was.
Yeah, yep, and then the last thing is just anything that's revised, or added, like it's missing, submit it to DEP and us. Which is, yep,
Okay, so
Any abutter input?
how far down, how many houses down on the right, on the right as I'm going north towards the intersection there? Are you from the daycare center? Are you like 2 houses down, 3 houses?
One, two houses.
2 houses, okay.
Yes.
I can picture it, I just, the houses along there, just,
It's a big wooden area.
Yeah.
Big lot next to
Yeah.
it. And house and then another house and then later.
I remember we had some dealings with the
Cars in the woods.
Here,
cars in the
I
woods.
did not see any when I was there. Were there previous cars in the woods?
We found several in different areas.
Never know when
You don't know, you're like, what is this? 1950.
I actually found a place,
Brigade cars.
I found a place with tires go to die too in the west one.
Oh, there's lots of tires.
so.
I have a question about flood storage loss on the site. Because you're in a flood zone. And if, from my understanding, our bylaw requires a 2-to-1 compensatory flood storage. Replication area.
Is it 2 to 1?
I thought so.
I don't remember. I know that you're right, compensatory is required.
I think 1-to-1 is for wetland restoration.
I thought we were already close.
That's, you're in a zone X, which is the 500-year, which is non-jurisdictional. It's not a zone A or AE.
Oh, okay. Given how low that area is, I wasn't surprised to hear you say that it could be a flood zone, because that's an area I could see flooding pretty quickly, given how low it is and how much water is already in that area, but it's not technically in the jurisdictional zone, and I guess we don't.
So there's 2 concrete block walls, according to the map.
Yeah.
The only one that you're talking about removing is that longer one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
The other one
literally,
you'll maintain?
it's literally just like little blocks, like.
It's just stacked
It's
there?
just that, yeah, like I asked permission to move both, just because I want everything to grow nice and, you know.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
It's very, it's not into the world, to the.
Why do you think they were there?
That stream. on the
Garden?
USGS map is.
I'm not sure, but it's,
Can you see them from your house, that road?
yeah, I can see them.
That's
Yes, from where I stand to you, I can see it.
Yeah.
And it's not doing nothing, it's big pile like
It's
concrete
just-
on top of
yeah.
it. It's called like stone wall, but that makes a complete block. I just didn't wanna step there without permission, like I
Right.
didn't know
No, it's
if I
awful.
could do or not. I said, I'm gonna leave this here too. And then the bigger one is there, and the small one is right in the line where I walk, cause they're fenced, they walk between the
That's what it
house.
looks like.
So between the house and there, it's about maybe 5 to 8, 10 feet. I'm not sure. But it's kind of like two, like it's stone with little blocks. I just want to remove those blocks.
Yeah.
Cause it's cement and, you know,
Yep.
it's like the wood will look better than the.
The stone wall on separate to remove.
No, just a random cinder blocks.
Any other
it's in the box.
Any other questions?
questions, topics?
Yeah, what is the little, I'm assuming it's
Stone.
just below the proposed driveway where it says there's stairs also?
That's existing like stone stairs in the embankment.
Is that getting removed or is that staying?
No, we can say. He's like, his access from the parking area down to the garage.
I did look, Ariane, I did look on the USGS map. That stream is about 1,200 feet away from the house.
Wow, it's that far.
Then I guess
Could you add that?
Yeah.
There'll be a
It's
little
just
line
that's
all
a
the way
rough-
over here.
Right, wow.
This is by the hour. I mean, we blew it up.
Yeah, it's like 400 meters. This is.
I mean, it looked on the
Yeah,
aerial
yeah,
as
but
far away
aerial.
from the property as the garage was from the street. Maybe that was an old aerial, change course.
Yeah, I'm going by where they have the stream on the topo. I couldn't see anything through the trees.
Pretty safe,
on
yeah.
the,
Across that.
When is this work proposed to be performed?
Yeah, what are you thinking? I want as soon as possible because I want to get the house going, because I'm working on the house on the inside.
Is anyone living in it?
No. But I live in-
So this is not your residence?
No, it's not my residence, no. I got the whole house, I did the piping, the sewer lines, you know.
Okay, I understand.
Everything was a mess there, you know, like I had to relocate where underneath the house where the water meter was, like with the town. So they were
So
very
this is
close.
a purchase refurbish flip.
No flip, no. I keep them on my properties.
Okay.
I have a lot of properties around here and I keep them. I'm not selling.
You manage them, not necessarily live in it, I think is what Steve's asking. You're not gonna live in it necessarily. you might manage it
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I
But
read
it's,
it.
Or whatever.
it's not a case of a family's living in a hotel,
Right.
waiting to go home.
Any other questions?
I would say if you're gonna be making any changes to this, could you add that flood zone line? Yeah, I'm hearing this one.
Also,
Yeah,
this
is zone X.
zone X is upland, is non-flood.
500 year.
Zone X is above the 500 years. And
Zone X shaded,
And I-
500 year, zone X unshaded, which
Yeah,
is
but if it's un-
really tough.
If,
But-
if zone X is,
Unshaded is no flood zone, shaded is 500 year.
but is that's non-jurisdiction?
It's non-jur, yeah, it's,
But I want it here so that we have the data. On, in our records, you know?
the 500 year, which we've never shown before, but we certainly can add it.
It's not too much trouble.
Noted. Any other observations, requests, questions?
My concern about the tanks being breached is, it'll be backing up into the house based on the elevations I'm seeing, long before the pump tank gets breached.
No.
Board of Health, Dylan did tell me that he hasn't approved this yet and that it's a more complicated one, I think, for him to look through, so he just want to let you guys know that he hasn't formally approved it yet. He's looking at it right now.
Since we usually, when it comes to a septic system replacement, want to see that happen, obviously, because it's better than failed systems. We also do comply with, or not comply, try to coordinate with the Board of Health so that whatever they finally issue for your approved plan are what we have as record. If we approve something now and they change that somewhat, then the records don't match up and that causes some issues. So we usually wouldn't close and approve our portion until the Board of Health has given us a sign off on their portion, and we know the plans won't change from the ones of record, just for your information.
No, not usually, ever.
Right. Ever usually.
Never.
Ever.
Never, not
Okay.
usually.
So that's where we come from, just so that you're aware that Bill may have already talked to you about that. Any other questions, observations? Erosion control and all that, sediment control, all that standard stuff that you have documented. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me, just in case somebody wanted to make a note of that or ask about that, but I think that seems to be handled in the usual way.
Is the 1 foot groundwater separation variance required? Couldn't you, if you're at this point, couldn't you just height the drain field higher to maintain the required? 'Cause
They already are. They already are raising.
I
He needs to go to
realize
4
it
feet
says
instead of 3.
required is 4 feet, there's 3 feet for proposed, and he mentioned the 1 foot.
I think
variance.
the 3 foot was because that maintained the driveway area in that area. If you go up another foot, you're now bumping up the driveway, making it elevated above where it is,
Driveway's still coming up.
coming up,
It'll
but
be real steep.
steep driveway. So you're asking for the variance, hoping that give him 3 foot as opposed to 4 foot for the town bylaw that we would.
Okay, so there's new driveway or redone driveway going on top of the new
Yes.
drain field.
Yes.
Am I the only one that thinks having the walkway there, although it is existing? Do we really want to permit segmenting the wetland continually? They're already doing mitigation. Would we want to just take that access out and have them mitigate that area? Because it seems like there's already access in the front of the driveway with those stairs and stone area. The driveway. I know it's inconvenient,
And it's already there.
yeah,
When I came into my office a couple months ago, I said there should be a little bridge.
The only thought I had is a single 8-inch pipe is not enough. And is there any wildlife, turtles or anything in this wetland?
Not that we've seen.
Not that anyone sits there with a chair and looks for it.
We could get a towel, you could stay there. as long as you don't do.
It probably doesn't hold much,
No,
any water.
it's just
It
wet.
doesn't hold.
That front area, Bill, that's in front of the walkway between there and the road, that blue area, about how many square feet is that?
Right here.
Yeah. Ballpark.
If I were to guess. 100 feet?
100 square feet.
What's the outline of the house?
That's a lot more.
yeah, the mitigation area. is
That's a lot more.
Square feet.
I can't do that. in my house.
That's a lot more.
Okay, sorry, I didn't want to put pressure on you there. Because you look at thousands maps, I don't, I just don't
At
get
least
it.
$1,000.
But what I was getting at was, if that area that is, as James said, segmented because of the walkway, I was trying to get a sense of how big that potential wetlands area that would be somewhat segmented with only an 8-inch pipe to allow water flow through is. I can't tell by looking at it myself. I'm just trying to get a sense if it's 100 square feet versus 500 square feet. That certainly makes me think, the impacts of wildlife and other things like that.
It's segmented right now.
Yeah.
I think it's
Pipe just like-
Making it
it's
a
existing,
worse,
I don't think-
better, or keeping it as it is, segmented area is the question I think that James is asking, and that's a good.
Can a turtle
Well-
climb over the existing timbers? Probably not. But they certainly can walk around.
And the habitat value of that area for large wildlife is.
Great place for mosquitoes, so.
Mosquitoes,
Yeah, great place.
salamanders, things like that, absolutely, but larger wildlife in a small area like that, that's surrounded like.
Well, the other thing is you have the road very close to you
Yeah.
there, so
Yeah.
that's gonna
Maple
disturb
Street,
wildlife.
Maple Street will get any of the wildlife that manages to escape from that slight depression.
Which is kind of why in the beginning I asked if you were planning on embedding it, because that's usually what I see recommended for any sort of wildlife crossing is a little bit of embedment.
Yeah, and it's more of, we're adding it because there isn't a crossing there now. Right now, the timber is set up, 10 inches above the existing.
So the driveway in the right does not exist.
It does.
Not maintained.
Oh, yeah.
It's just flooded,
Overgrown,
flooded,
Yeah, it's definitely gravel there.
with grass and everything else growing up through it. It hasn't been.
There is a garage, there was cars there when I bought it, they removed the cars inside the garage, so they were using that, but they let it go for so long. Which I know the owners, they are friends of my family, and they told me another story about it. It was very dry there, and once they start building all those.
commercial stuff across the
Commercial
street.
stuff, yeah, that's what he told me, like, my dad used to come here with me and work on cars here, like, this used to be a driveway, I used to park my car on top of those stone wall that's existing there. And we used to, this was all like nice and dry, as soon as they start doing all the work there, the water just floats into our yards and level out the water, and that's why,
plants that are very, like, I guess hydrophilic, like, that you can plant in that area that would also. Willows?
Willows. Suck up the water.
I'm not sure if that would be mitigation or enhancement.
The idea being. zone around the water.
In the resource area? Planting in the resource area.
Only on that side between the house and the road.
I don't know, I would have to see if the one scientists think there's an improvement, I don't know if the planting stuff like that in there is.
It's kind of brushy there now. It's not like.
It
it's
may
grass
absorb
or
more
something.
water, maybe there's a need to absorb more water there, I don't know. I don't know if that's an improvement or something that would be just messing with something that's already in okay shape right now.
I like to play God.
There you go. All right, I'd like to move this along a little bit if I can, only because I think we've asked a lot of questions and I'm open to hiring more if you have them. But,
Think we can't close on it tonight.
no, we can't, certainly. We have information that needs to be gathered and we don't have a Board of Health approval for the septic system, so we wouldn't close tonight. We would continue this, giving us another opportunity if there's one desired by any members to further look at stuff.
How long do you think it'll take for you to get the information resubmit or additionally submitted?
Yeah, well, a couple things we're looking for is the loading of the seed mix and the 500-year flood zone.
That, and then,
The DEP required missing information.
yeah, right at the bottom of that email, you'll see, about the soil logs.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Those pages?
Yeah, I have it probably.
Okay. I'm just thinking like 2 weeks versus a month.
Do we need a cross section or is it okay the way it is?
I don't say anything from the board members that the cross section of DP says may be requested is something that we're looking for, so we never have it. But if commission member disagrees, speak up. Okay. So 2 weeks,
That stuff, yeah.
Did the Board of Health give you an indication as to when they want to close this out?
I haven't talked to Dylan, but typically he'll let us know if he has a question. I haven't heard from him.
Okay.
well, then hearing from Hannah that anecdotally that he
He's,
does consider this to be more complicated. If he's not ready in 2 weeks, then we certainly would have to continue again, because again, we won't close until we get the Board of Health sign off on the plans. So,
Okay.
unless I hear any other questions or concerns, I'll accept the motion, yes, to continue this to also the evening of October 9th.
so moved.
Thank you, Steve, thank you, Don, thank you. All, any other discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous vote, thank you.
Would you propose to me just taking a walk through that? Just the-
Anyone?
Yeah,
Yeah, just if you just contact Diego and just arrange with him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I might just, tomorrow I can do it, because I live right down the street from there.
Yes. And I'd like to show you what's,
Yeah.
everything, how it was before, you know.
Okay, if you're around tomorrow,
Yes.
I'll take a walk over. Or maybe I'll drive and.
Maybe.
It's about a mile, it's supposed to rain, so. Yeah, I don't want to walk.
We'll just go to the street. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Cristiano is here as other business.
The dam?
Nope, it's not Monday.
Okay.
I didn't-
Well, do you want to do Cristiano first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cristiano, how are you? Good. Come on up.
Good evening.
Evening.
Like for the next meeting, sorry, I can bring some pictures, but she came, can I use that board over there? So put it for you guys.
Yeah,
That's what-
this is information.
This is about your, yes, your residence, 51 Carolina Drive.
Do we have drawings?
No,
No, I can bring for the next one. I just came because we have the house on 8 Palm Street as well. I did need to get a signature, sorry. And this one, he came to my house to visit it. Bill did this drawings. I have a kitchen, a new car garage, and my bedroom upstairs. And also, I have my kitchen in the back of the house. I use helical pliers to hold the new construction. And we have this patio here. And I wanna see with you guys if it's possible, I extend that a little bit more. I know I'm not too, too far from the buffer zone. But like I mentioned to her, the problem probably is about the drainage for the water on the rain or something. And I wanna see with you, with you folks, if I can use a permeable pavers. Cause I use a lot in some of you Cambridge, where the areas is, they build additions. Put parking space and also patios. So I use a lot of that is we create a kind of system that we use the pavers. So as soon as the water goes on, the drainage out because they have a space, a 1/4 inch space between the pavers. And we use a 1/4 inch of crushed stone. So what I use is
1/4 inch of crushed stone.
Crushed
where?
stone.
Between the
Between-
pavers or underneath?
no between the pavers under
Crushed stone or sand?
no crushed stone. Because what I do is I buy the stone dust.
Oh.
And then what I'll do is I clean the stone dust. I take all the fine stuff off and keeps only the 1/4 inch. So what we use between the pavers on the joints, as soon as the water goes on, they drain it like this. They don't keep on it. And here, I can make a new prints for the next minute if I have to. We're gonna have to put a fence across, next to the buffer zone and the lot, I'm sorry, and what do you call, where the grass is supposed to be. Cause I think now is about 10 feet, he requests from the new addition. I wanna see if we can go a little bit more.
10 feet from the
From the-
wetlands line?
Yeah, from the addition to the back, to
Buffer zone?
the buffer zone.
Okay.
And at the moment now, because my lot is make a curve. And let's say if you look at the house on the right side, we have about 25-30 feet distance from the house to the buffer zone. But on the other end, we have a little bit more short, probably about 15-18.
Yeah, if you want to go even closer to that. It sounds like this is a plan that's definitely going to require a full review and a full proposal and so forth. Are you looking for some sort of indication of something tonight, or just letting us know that you're going to come to us?
Oh, no, it's, no, I don't look at that for now. Because if it's a something too, he's gonna, to be honest, give a, because looks like this is already approved. By
Yeah,
the.
you guys approved 51 Trail. right?
Yeah,
Before I was
for
here.
this one, it's already approved, this size patio and everything.
But
And
if you want to
also,
go, you want to change that. What was approved is maybe there, but you want to do something different.
yeah, I wanna extend a little bit more the patio if it's
Well,
possible.
Extending,
It's an
extend,
amendment.
yeah, depending on how, we need to see details. So when you come back to us with a plan that has the very good details, like exactly how many feet
Mhm.
close you're getting and where the lines are, and what things are made of, and the path, those details will have to be reviewed. But certainly you have the right to come to us for an amended or an order of change. If it's something that's too big a scope and it's too much, then you might have to reapply again, a new order of conditions for a new notice of intent. But it may be something simpler than that. So I think now from what we've seen, we know that we're gonna get more information from you, and we're looking to potentially, review that maybe at the next meeting.
Okay, so yeah, and also, like, Hannah, he came at the house and I have a tree. Very close with the pool. It's gonna, pretty much where the pool is gonna go. So, and also by the street, I have another two. Where when I move to the house, the street was very low, all the bushes goes down. And the people drop some drugs, stuff under. Bottle beers, vodkas, all those kind of things, so I trimmed that like about 8 feet tall. But the problem is when comes the winter, they dry and a lot of pieces fly. And I wanna see if we can take those down and put a new ones in or something different. Cause I'm afraid that goes to the pool and clog all the system.
You want to put something in different trees?
Yeah, or leave out without, you know what I mean? But to be honest, I don't wanna leave the front of my house without nothing. I just wanna put something on it, but this one is specific, because it's a very small, it's about a 1/2 inch big and a 1/4 inch like.
The tree?
No, the pieces,
The
the.
needles.
Pieces of stuff that people are throwing.
Exactly.
So they drive by and they throw it out the window?
No.
No, they say with the needles.
No.
the-
Oh, pine needles.
Exactly.
Oh. I was hearing needles and I heard vodka
I
and
know, I
stuff
was
like that. I'm thinking people are littering in your yard and throwing debris.
They were, and that's why he trimmed the branches that were really
Right,
low.
these
so
are
that
the
it-
trees
Trees by the sidewalk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And also I have another two
Are
on
those
this
even-
side.
Are those in the 100 foot?
Just, I think that's what that line is, that shows.
And then I have another two. One is pretty much in the
I
front of the
think
garage door. You know where the new garage is gonna go. And I have a next one. If I have to keep it one, it's okay, but if I can do something,
We didn't talk about this when we approved it originally, the trees.
I'm sorry.
We didn't talk about those trees when we approved that originally.
They don't show on the drawings, and I, to be honest, I don't participate in the meetings. Bill, who's came and participated that. And, so to be honest, I don't know.
Which tree for the two big front ones?
Exactly. Yeah, I see how it used to be. So and then I trim it up that high. And also I have the other two over there.
So this is the tree in the back of the.
Exactly, that's where the pool is gonna go. If you look from here.
All right, so you trimmed the ones on the left similar to the ones on the right.
I did both.
These are trimmed up high, just where these are now.
No, I go up a little bit more too, because this
Okay.
one, yeah, see how it was like this.
Yeah.
As well. And the people throw a lot of stuff under.
Oh, yeah, when you say approved originally, what are you referring to?
This
Yeah,
is
this
a
is
approved plan.
The addition and everything was already. He's asking for a change.
Yeah. See, this is the new addition, the new, and then I have the back that goes into. This is, was approved. This is, so we have the two trees about over here, and the other two is on the other side.
The picture of the house in the open.
Pretty much.
The whole back.
of, you know, one, if you, this one in the back is there. Is,
Approved.
yeah,
That's the back of the house.
now if you go up a little bit this way,
Must be very soft.
yeah, see this,
It was May,
that's the one where
Huh.
the,
Within May of 2023.
year and a half,
the pool is gonna go.
almost.
That wasn't before your time.
May of 2023 is when it was approved,
I was just starting them.
for an addition, okay.
April,
What behind you?
I don't remember it.
All right, well, it sounds like we need to take a look at the original details of what you want to do. It's different from the original plan. Obviously, the original plan will want to double check that since it's been a year.
I got that folder.
Plus, and, so we can look at that at the same time, or have that information provided maybe in the portal before. So we
Yeah, if,
look at it. if you wanna compare
I
it
think
to-
I understand, because I obviously went out there with you, what you want, but yeah, if you could just put like the 3 bullet points of exactly what you wish to do, write it out and send that to me, then we can take that as a potential amendment to an order.
Yeah, so I'll
If
do,
they-
so, because Bill did this, so for sure he has the drawings,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
And we
with
can
him.
talk to him and say, we want to amend it. What do I need to have to the commission? He'll probably know most of the things you
Yeah.
need to have
Yeah.
to give to Hannah. And then we can put it up for the next for a future meeting. I'm not sure how far down the road you'll have this information. How long do you think it'll take to get together with Bill and come up with that information
Well, I
and get it to
can meet
Hannah?
him next week, I see why not. But I'll go over with him first, and if I see that, because for me, if I see it's a good, anyways, I don't wanna expend a lot of money, because I'm trying to, like, just this drawing take me more than a year to be approved.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I have to excavate my whole backyard because the other lady requested me. How my buffer zone, I took about 30 trucks of dirt out of that. Cause she requested, I did, I don't have a choice. And I'm like, she saw all the buffer zone, I excavated 12 inches down. The whole thing. And I asked her, why I need to excavate that? She says, I want it. Okay, I'll
And
do
this is
it.
your neighbor
No, what's her name?
And,
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 like, and,
Ann Matthew, okay.
yeah, she just requests. I says, okay, I'll do it.
not me.
Year and a half ago. Okay, all right, so yeah, we would then want to continue this if we can have the information ready, within a week or two, from Bill and Hannah, I guess that, assuming that's the case, it doesn't need to continue if it's not available.
Just, I'm almost positive, I'll triple check, but on our side, there's not another additional fee for requesting to amend it in order.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I understand that the engineering side, there might be. so
I
understand
just
what
wanna
you're
go everything too, wait another, another
Right.
4, 5, 6, 7 months,
Can I ask you
So-
a question? So I'm looking at that drawing now from the original submission. The back edge of the patio then is already at the 25-foot line. So you want to extend it further?
That's where we need to see the details of how far. much
because
further it
here,
goes to.
because at the moment, I have this fence goes up here. And from here to there, we have about 30 feet so far.
There's the 25 right there, right against the back edge of the patio. So you want to continue past the 25?
Yeah, if it's possible.
You're saying you want less lawn, more patio. Because right now you have 30 feet of lawn as proposed.
I have
Is that what you were saying?
25, or how much? No,
From the patio.
no, we have, I think it's about 10, 15 feet only on the patios here.
Well, how much room from the patio to the fence? You said 30 feet?
Oh, we have now about 30 feet. So I'm not wanna go that much. I just
Well,
wanna
this
go
is-
about another 10
This
feet.
is saying 25 to here, which is past the fence, so I'll give it 20 feet from the edge of the patio to the fence.
Probably.
And if you wanna go 10 feet of a 20-foot difference already, that's substantially closer to the wetlands. We definitely wanna take a look at that.
He's already at the 25-foot buffer line. Based on this drawing.
Yeah,
saying.
because that's,
Yeah.
It's existing disturbed area lawn or something like that, we need to evaluate that. Yeah, I mean, it may be still straightforward enough, but it's just, we need to be clear on exactly how much is being asked for.
So what you're asking, and just my own clarity, there's no notice of intent filed yet, correct?
No, this is informational, I think, right now.
And it's gonna be an
It wouldn't-
amendment
It's
to
gonna be
this
an amendment.
existing,
Yeah, there won't be a,
and just, to summarize. All the things that you want to do, write them out like Ken said, but also make sure that they're on the plans.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, so we will,
I'm sorry.
We can be formal.
yeah,
do we want to put this on the agenda is what I was gonna ask.
it's up to him when ever he
We get
gives
ready,
me the
when he
filing,
gets
you
around.
know,
Okay.
or the request.
When you give Hannah the information, she'll let you know when we can schedule this for the next hearing, depending on how fast you get it, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
So we're not gonna pick a date and time tonight, but when you get the information to her, she can talk to you about that.
Can we
Okay.
do a site visit ahead of the hearing?
You can certainly
It's
ask.
an open order.
If some of the members want to take a look at the property, the
Oh,
rest
yeah.
of it, that's okay.
Anytime, anytime. Just put it open over there. You can come anytime
Okay,
to visit.
all right. Thank you very much.
On Sunday, you want to wander over there?
You're gonna-
So,
Not this weekend, following.
I'll walk.
I gotta,
It's right down the street from me, so-
Did you talk to Bill about that?
because not this coming weekend, next.
You measure up at all?
That would be the sixth.
he told me that that
Sure.
was not the
Okay,
correct
12.
plan.
Oh, I can do it late.
Maine
Well,
or?
Maine. My son's buying a house. I'm gonna check it out. before we leave.
It's not close to Oregon.
No, this is.
Four
Yeah.
hours.
And I need to record it then?
Okay, I'll talk to him and see what he says, but 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, he was saying
Just
that.
to be clear, we
That
don't.
wasn't-
we don't give you
Yeah.
permission.
I do have that in my office. I saw
I
that.
dropped it with him. Yeah.
I will
We-
re-ask him.
It's nice to ask people that-
Yeah, I know, what do you want?
Right, we don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look at, okay, maybe I just didn't see the difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, it's gonna be picture over there.
Yeah.
That's one, that's the one.
I'll look at it after this meeting and then I'll let you know. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sifting stone dust,
I'm sorry.
sifting stone dust to get out the snow.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
I put in, I'll do the same thing, I'm doing it for my aunt, and I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, what I did is I go and,
Someone just
I found that,
started walking.
What I call it,
around.
Home another one of the Lowe's.
So
Do you have like the screen?
Yeah, I already,
Wires?
yeah, I made a
Right,
screen.
that's why we.
I-
This
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I do it for loom,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I did that too.
Okay.
Gonna have a look around.
Thank
Yeah.
you. No, that's a great
Thank
idea.
you. Thank you. Good night. So moving right along to other business, unless people want to hang around, North Bellingham Dam.
Yeah, so,
This thing again.
Did I bring, I don't remember if I.
No,
brought it
no,
up.
no,
It's been brought up.
Oh, is this the one on the end of Ox Pond?
No,
Oh, okay,
this
sorry.
is over by Maple
By-
Street.
Maple
Street,
Street,
Hartford
okay,
Ave.
yeah.
It
Charles.
is failing, it has cracks beneath it, it's eroded around on our property. Time to go.
Time to go.
And people are looking at it and taking it seriously. Charles Water Watershed Association has been in communication with me, Rob, DPW. And last Friday, we had a meeting there that included them, us, Mass Wildlife. Don came, select board, congressman, senator,
Senator, yeah,
representative,
Jeez.
yeah, it was a.
State senator or US senator?
Soder. And so, people wanna do something about it.
People give a damn. Okay, so what are we gonna do?
So, we're looking, the next step, it seems, there's a grant that's gonna be opening, through the DER, which is the Department of Ecological Restoration. It's not open yet, but I plan to help us apply for that. They want, or they encourage us to hold a public hearing, informational hearing about it so that the community could come in and ask about it. I said, the commission is abutters, also it's conservation, so it kind of makes sense that we could hold that conversation. So I guess I'm asking permission to put them on the agenda and just to let you guys know that that initiative's
Will
happening.
CWRA send somebody?
Yeah, they're gonna send someone, they have educational resources.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Do you have an engineering firm in mind?
I don't think
I
they.
don't think we even
spoke about
talked.
that yet, I think that's,
Okay.
yeah.
Stating I'll have to.
Well, that's the grant money, would pay for that, so if the grant money isn't there yet, there's no money for engineers.
Sure. But this actually, it's not like a NOI or anything yet. It's just to get the community on board, so we don't have to fight the community later because they don't understand what the process is or why we're getting rid of it. It's technically still, according to the
Yeah.
Army Corps, apparently a flood control, which don't look at it.
Yeah, but in high danger of failing.
Yeah.
It's failing, it's failed, you just look at it. They're concerned about the public in some past experiences and people that have been downstream of these that have been concerned about flooding, and so I think they
Impacting
talk.
their property.
Yeah, impacting their property, Needham, but those were bigger dams that were functioning, that were holding back a lot of water. This isn't holding.
Right, like the South Natick.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
You're right,
and they
right,
brought
South
that one
Natick,
up.
And they brought that up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we got rid of the dam at Pearl Street.
Right.
So this is the one off
No,
of Maple.
no ill effects, and we
Yes,
can use.
Yeah,
very
so-
close to the Hartford people.
We can use
Yeah.
the Pearl Street Jam as an example of how well it can go in town, because we got rid of that one and there have been no reported
Exactly.
ill
Downstream
effects.
issues as well.
Awesome.
There
Be
really
interesting
shouldn't
to-
be any issues with this, honestly, because the water is going around the dam, it's going underneath it. It's not holding anything back.
Right.
It's
That's
just-
sediment.
And we can
Except sediment.
we can document that by some pictures and so forth as part of the
Yeah.
presentation to the public.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to hear who Charles Marshall or anybody else
Hartford.
recommends how we contact people downstream, because they are the people who are gonna care the most about potential concerns about, oh, what happens, if you take a stand out and suddenly my backyard's gonna get flooded every time it rains and so forth. So how we identify abutters more than just within 150 feet or something like we might normally for a notice of intent. We may wanna reach out to a different stream of people, so to speak.
I was gonna go to the assessors and
Yes. See who's down
see
there.
what that
Okay.
list is. So yeah, just
At
clarify,
least within the town, beyond the town,
right?
whatever town goes to after
It's
that.
not like a formal hearing or anything. It's just they would like to use this as a platform to start communicating. that.
Makes sense. So, yeah, I would say, what are the commission's
Yes.
thoughts on this?
Do it.
Give Hannah the go to start getting this
Cameras
lined
and
up?
everything.
Yep,
Hannah.
I jokingly said to the.
Hand of the
senator,
hammer.
Hannah the handler.
Chocolate pot, I think as long as we can limit it, like if we have a jam-packed agenda, I don't wanna throw them on here and then
Right.
have them take.
No, I don't think we do this on the 9th,
Yeah, no.
So the 23rd,
maybe the 23rd. Okay.
because there's, the only thing on the 23rd right now is 45 Ruth Allen.
45 what?
Ruth Allen.
That already came up so quick.
What is on?
45 Ruth Allen.
Ruth Ellen Road, the enforcement order.
Our Great Trails project.
Back again.
Fruitful.
October's coming. Jeez. Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna write dam removal right now.
Well, we said we were gonna walk the slope in October when the
Oh, right.
vegetation dries off, and they weren't happy about that. They wanted us to just approve food regulations. Say the ferns will everything.
So yeah, if you have any thoughts on that, any ideas, let me know.
9-11 minutes.
Minutes.
I looked them over and see anything, so
Yeah,
it looked
me
good.
too, I didn't see anything.
The recording that she was doing the minutes off of, I had our Zoom muted for 13 minutes. But I think she did get the consensus of what the hearing was in the minutes, but if you read it and you're like, I think it's missing something.
I didn't-
I-
Read lips.
No, the first 13 minutes was all about, I think it was just getting a peer review and we had summarized it at the end.
Okay.
By the time it was unmuted, so I think it was fine. When I looked over, I was like, I think it's fine, but
I didn't notice anything jarring. It seemed to jive with my memory of what happened on the. Anybody else have any other observations or comments about the minutes? Nope. I'll accept the motion to approve minutes, September 9th as, sorry, September 11th, thank you. 9/11 is what I'm saying, as, they were provided for us, and I'll accept the motion in a second. So, Neil, thank you, James. All, any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, OSRP 2024.
open space, if you haven't, looked at the proposal. And you might have an opinion about the conservation parcels, conservation land is part of open space, so. You don't necessarily have to read the whole thing, but it's an easy read. If you look at the very bottom, towards the bottom, it's a table and it talks about the, intentions for conservation land. If you have any input on it, let me know. Just because it's your guys' land, so.
You put it on the portal or is it just an email?
It's on the website, on the open space committee page. I don't know, I think I've sent in so many different avenues, but I don't think I have it on the portal.
Yeah, I think-
So Claudia sent me an email a while ago that took me like 2 weeks to reply to. And she was like, oh, can you help me with some sections of the report? And then I was like, "Please do it, it's during the weekend, we get home." And then it was like, the last week on.
Yeah, okay.
I can help.
Oh, okay, great, then you'd be helping me.
So,
So that's really it. That was just an announcement if you have an opinion, because I'm trying to formalize that to turn it in.
Right, and the thing we talked about earlier today, the information that you provide the application, so we're for hunting, so forth, where is that available again?
Oh, yeah.
I
So people can look at that, Hannah.
I think I just had that as an
Last meeting,
email.
hunting stuff.
So I saw it on the, I don't know if this was the same thing that you.
And
saw.
Mary Ann did a hell of a job with that buffer thing.
Yeah.
GIS.
I saw that in the bylaw, it says that they have to get a permit to the select board.
That's good connection. Yes, so last fall when I had started this conversation. I basically went to them and said, yes, they said, yes, but if the land is specific to a board. Then it kind of gets defaulted to that board. Which is why. It kind of ended, I guess theoretically, maybe if we approved it, then we would. Tell the select board that we approved it, and then they would. I guess, make their decision based on our approval,
Or maybe our approval should be
over chat, there's no rules.
an endorsement to bring to the select board.
Okay, that's right. Well, we're fine, as I said, Hannah, the start is, look at what you provided, and the start is the start, and, it's gonna take a while to develop something, and it may not be perfect, and we have to modify it, but we're moving in a direction which I think was a total vacancy, a vacuum rather, before, so this is probably a good thing, and, it may not be, like I said, perfect, but it's something. So we can continue to monitor that, move that along as we get a chance, and thanks for providing that buffer zone yourself.
Yeah,
I only
I-
sent it to you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share it just real quick, since we're only at 8:30.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Just information.
Yeah, if you can share information, as long as we're not discussing it, you can share all the information you want. You can always send people information into as a group. And not violate the open space. Meanwhile, Ariane says she sent some buffer zone information about the. Town plan basically, and what areas are around
That's right.
for potential hunting. As is thrown up there right now.
And it doesn't relate to a hearing or anything we're
No,
voting on.
it was an
or
open
anything like that,
discussion
so
that was
it's-
about,
it's
you know, how
just-
things and so forth.
Was that in your email?
I only sent it to them too, because I didn't want to have like a forum.
Right, just worry about violating open space. So my point was, if it's information you're providing and not asking for discussion or feedback, you can provide information to all the other commission members. That's been made pretty clear, I think, by town council
So
and.
you will do that now, right?
Yeah.
I think you should
although I
share.
feel like this was a little like, since in that bold, I need an opinion, I guess.
Well,
Like-
but it's not about a hearing. There's no
that might be
hearing, so there is no meeting to
Right.
be in violation of being open.
Right, and even in emails between ourselves, we cannot discuss, you know, oh, well, this is what I think we should do about that issue or that issue, even if it's not necessarily a hearing, it could be, you know, about some other town stuff. We're supposed to basically not express opinions and
About anything?
I was told
Yeah.
by somebody, and I forget who it was in the town, if you're at a party or an event in town and there's just a bunch of people in the room here for a planning board meeting or a selectman meeting or something like that, don't start talking amongst yourselves as commission members about stuff, because that could be viewed as a potential by somebody else in the
Right, but
room.
that's four, right? You need four. Two people can have
Four.
discussions.
Right, which is why she.
I believe
Right.
she said we would have to create minutes. It was in that class.
Yeah, bottom line is, sharing the information is fine, if you're just sharing information, I don't think we have any concern here, so Arian can share this, and I don't think whether it's bold or there's some opinion stated in that, that's fine, we're not gonna provide feedback to you other than thanks, you know, acknowledgement that we've received it, so we're not discussing it, there's no hearing is being set about
Is
it.
this?
And yet the
So, yeah,
legislature
let's
debates
talk
our
about
budget
that.
in secret.
What's that? Like what?
Let's move past this,
Yeah,
open
so
meeting law.
let's explain your map. So do you want to explain it? You did the work.
Sure. So I used like the assessor's parcels, which has like a road layer in it to get all the roads, and did 150-foot buffer off of them, which is the requirement, for discharge of a firearm. It's like the minimum distance you have to do from a road, but then there's also a 500-foot, distance for occupied structures. So for that, I just did, the layer from Mass GIS that has all the buildings, and I had updated that as part of the open space fund to, because it hasn't been updated since like 2016, I think. So like there's like a few warehouses that I had added in manually. Yeah, couple houses. So I did a 500-foot buffer off of that, and then the 500-foot, which is like wider, is behind the 150-foot. A couple things that I feel like I'm missing that maybe could have been added are like Arcan Park itself, where people would go swimming there. I feel like should also have a 150-foot buffer, and then Silver Lake Beach.
If you're swimming there during hunting season, good luck.
I mean, like they might be fishing, I don't know. I
Right,
guess
right.
that's kind of hunting, but
It might be.
Hardy souls.
Yeah.
but
So,
it seems like maybe 1.5 parcels.
where,
have that.
yeah, and where we approved the bow hunters last meeting is where my mouse is right now. So it is,
Yep.
they can legally by state law, like safely hunt.
Do bow hunters have the same distance requirements from dwellings as?
I think it's
Firearms?
150, right? For bow,
Might-
it's different. We'd have to look it up.
I was gonna say, because
Yeah.
arrows don't go as far as
Right.
bullets. That's
Right.
just. this
So
is-
Speak for
the
yourself.
white is clear space
Yeah.
where there's no buffer zone infringement.
It's just.
And the white on the green hash would be really the only applicable conservation huntable area.
Correct.
Not that many options. Where my mouse is one that I got a lot of calls about last year.
I guess, what is on the Franklin?
This is the forest right here, isn't it?
Well,
Franklin Forest.
we don't know.
I
Don't care.
think so.
Yeah, it's not my town, so.
No,
Let me see, 126.
Very on, well done.
That goes by 40.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, this,
Very
well,
good. Good work.
some of it is, but I don't, a lot of it isn't.
this is also, I know.
How many hours do you have in this?
Huh?
How much time do you have in this?
Well, it's data that I took from the open space. So, I mean, to make the map itself, it was like a half hour, but like,
So,
yeah, but that's like from like the building one, that took a while to update. I'm like zooming in on like random sites, like that building there, no pile trash. I'm like,
Um,
Well, it's cool.
So the non-conservation white area,
Like
is
the,
it safe to assume that's all privately owned
No.
property?
where my mouse is right now, between these two tiny pieces is technically planning board.
It could be town-owned property, it could be privately owned property.
We have a lot.
What is this? Charles River?
Charles River, that's, yeah,
Some of
Army.
that's Army Corps, some of it's.
This is where-
Future warehouse.
Yeah. Remember that warehouse?
Some of it's.
So it's not huntable without owner permission.
No, you don't have to have.
Right.
permission.
Well,
For the
you have to have
private-
owner permission on private property.
Private property?
Yeah, you have to have private property, you have to have
Yeah.
ownership permission on private properties.
The issue is, a lot of times, private property owners don't post their property, so if you're walking
Right.
along and you think you're in an open space area that's town owned or something, and you're okay to do it, you may wander into private property or vice versa,
It's not
and
posted.
if it's not posted, who knows? So that complicates things too for hunters and for
I
the
didn't
private.
realize
property.
Bellingham had a bylaw that required owner permission.
Well,
That's a state,
Those statements?
yeah, and most states have that.
That's where I got it from.
My son-in-law hunts and
So
he set this up.
how do we get access to this area, and are you sending it now?
Oh, sure.
I can,
Somebody will share it, Hannah or
I
she'll
may
share it.
update it since-
There you go.
and like include the Arcan Park portion and the sort of beach.
Yeah, I'd be a little just cautious of that because you can fish and hunt in the same areas. So I guess it depends on what we want to do.
Well, it could be somebody sitting at the beach just enjoying sunset and somebody's hunting and it's in October, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be swimming in the water.
So I would include.
Yeah, but that's not
those
based on a
pictures
law
as
of any
okay.
sort.
They should
That's
not
the-
wear their deer
This map
costume.
is based on state
Or
law.
big duck costume.
So that
And
makes
it's
me
just
hesitant to
For
add that.
analysis.
Yeah. So this is just to really show like when people are asking, there's really not too many options where they could legally do it based on state.
Right, and one of the things that was discussed by at least Hannah and myself a while back was, would the information that we would potentially have online, somebody signs up to go hunting at Arcan Park, whatever, on the Concom website, because that's now part of the webpage, whatever. With that information, my name, address, where I want to be, hunter, something that we would want to make available, for example, to the police, so that if they're driving by an area that that person's gonna be hunting in, they could know that that license plate number, blah, 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 from John Doe is gonna be hunting there as opposed to somebody else. My response is, I don't think the police department's gonna wanna look into that stuff because that's more paperwork for them and so on, unless there's a legal issue. However, not having that, I think having that information, the application online, people who know to go and follow that rule, you know, of asking basically, or saying, I wanna apply to go hunt,
Well, I don't-
gives us a database, if nothing else, of who's been doing some, at least some of it. Not everybody's gonna do it. Some people just go do hunting like they've been doing or whatever, ignore things. But having that, or if some incident happens, you know, something doesn't happen to that location in town on that date, oh, well, somebody happened to be hunting in that area,
Hunt with a ferret.
they can reach out to them. You know, I think having that information won't hurt. So if you look over the application information, which was
I sent it in the recap email.
in the recap email, see what you think of it, and, you know, we can amend it, we can work on it again, it's an ongoing process, I don't wanna tie it up too much tonight, I just, since some progress both
I
area
do
and
like
Hannah have been doing.
The heading, note made by Ariane, just cause.
Just,
I like that.
just because,
Open space template, you know.
there you go. One other point I wanted to make up, or bring up tonight was, Noel's absence makes it, all the more poignant. I'm not sure when Noel's last meeting will be, or has been, we haven't heard from her for a while. I will reach out to her in the next week or so myself and see if I can track her down and find out what's going on with her. I know she did announce she's getting married and moving out of state, out of the area rather, not out of state. And so obviously her time with us will come to an end at some point in time. So I'll ask commission members to think of anybody you can think of around town who might be a nice person to have step in and help fill her shoes down the road. If you know somebody's interested, got an interest, mentioned something to you in the past, keep an ear out. It would be nice to have that position filled sooner than later if she decides she's basically done, or she wants to linger on and do it remotely by Zoom. I'm happy with that for a while, sure.
Isn't Kaya pursuing environmental in school?
I've brought up to him, before I even knew Noel was leaving, to be an alternate in case.
Because,
He has classes Wednesday night, so that's why not this semester,
yeah, but that's only this year.
just 6 months, actually, just this semester, so.
Blink of an eye.
Is he living on campus or is he at home?
He's on campus.
I work right beside Stonehill.
Town bylaws, yes.
I'm driven back and forth.
Yeah, I went to.
You don't have to.
We
It's not required.
got back home in 17 minutes. Wasn't going the legal speed limit, but I did it.
Okay, anything else on anybody's mind we covered tonight? If not, yeah, good.
This might be more of a TPW thing, but past couple of days on my way to work, something in South Bellingham has smelled rotten, like illicit discharge rotten. Like,
What part of South Bellingham?
it's like, I don't wanna sound political, but a little bit north of it.
It could, sometimes,
Oh, that's where
sometimes
this-
that gets an inversion from the plant in Woonsocket.
I smelled that the other day too.
I think
So
that's
right by
what
the
the bars
bridge,
smell
right,
like.
right by the bridge there,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
that's-
the SNET runs underneath that.
yeah.
But that, you
Yeah,
get you get the stank from
Usually you
the,
don't,
from
but I
the
have smelled it
wastewater,
on it.
from the Blackstone Valley wastewater treatment plant.
The wind's blowing.
Which
So
is
if the wind blows north,
Just if the wind blows north,
you get the stank in South Bellingham. Oh, yeah.
right by the cement trail. It's a stinky cement trail. Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay.
And there is always a smell by the Trump store.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. I think I'll accept motion to close the meeting and adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks, Steve.
Second.
Second, they're in. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.